Experience the chilling mystery while you become familiar with the unknown. The Elgin's Ghost Tour explores various sites and phenomenon, drawing from the town's rich history. One of the oldest towns in Illinois, Elgin, is home to a wide variety of mysteries, legends, and hunting lore. Murder, bizarre rituals, spirits in limbo, and angels gathering to stand vigil over fallen soldiers are all woven together in the fabric of the community, which on the surface appears to be an ordinary town. 3 unique guides lead you into the night on a journey that will change your perception of the town, and it is bound to keep you awake with unanswerable questions.
I was at someone else's home, and it was when I was just starting out. I was quite young, in my middle teens, and it was the first time I don't want to say possession because it wasn't possession, but she was trying to communicate and I didn't understand what she was trying to tell me. And I kind of fell apart and started crying, and I was with other mediums and other spiritualists who could actually help me and explain what was going on to me, with me. And the second time, I was quite a bit older, and it's unnerving when you go to different properties or different homes, or whether it's your own or someone else's, and you walk around the property, just, looking at the property and things, and you get this feeling like, I don't want to go there, I don't want to go back there, I don't want to, and there have been some instances that I just don't want to go back there, and I won't. There are some houses in this town that you couldn't pay me all the money in the world to go into.
The Ghost Tour has actually 2 stages, which is why we are so different than any other ghost tour. One stage is, of course, the chance to see a historic community, one of the oldest in the state of Illinois, with its rich architecture and the stories behind them and the sites.
There's a lot of different areas in town that are kind of on the creepy side. Channing Park is one of them. If you go back towards the back of the park down where the tennis courts used to be, there's all these humongous oak trees, and sometimes when it's real windy like this or a little bit windier, you'd swear you could hear howling back there. And I used to go to one of the grade schools, and I used to cut through this park all the time to go to the school because we had someone taking care of us at that time. And I would make it a point of walking all the way around that park just to avoid going through the park because it was that unnerving. It's very, I don't know what the word is, but it's very active as far as you think you're walking through this park, and it's dusk and you're by yourself, and all of a sudden you see 3 or 4 different, you think they're people, but they're not anybody there, and you're just like, okay, I'm going to just take off and start running. It's that kind of an atmosphere, and it's anywhere in that park. Doesn't matter if it's down below or if it's up above where the grave is in the back, or if you're cutting through. It's just very unnerving. This is one of the oldest cemeteries in Elgin, along with Channing Memorial Cemetery and Park and School, and it has a lot of the people that were buried in Channing Park were brought over here to Bluff City, as well as Mount Hope Cemetery. So it also has a lot of the Civil War veterans in the cemetery as well. But it's a very nice place to come and sit and reflect and meditate. There's the tombstones in this place are phenomenal. The statues and the marble, the architecture of the stones and the statues in this place are phenomenal. And it's just fun to walk around and take the time to look at all the different names, and a lot of them are original part of the founding fathers of Elgin.
Now with hypnosis, sometimes to get to the root cause of a problem, you'll do a regression, or in this case it turned into a past life regression. I was working with a gentleman. He had an issue with his temper and also several other things. And the fellow proved to be an extraordinarily good hypnotic subject. while I was working with him, he began speaking in German, fluent German. Now, I speak a little German, but certainly I couldn't keep up with him. So I wound up having him switch to English, but he still spoke with a very heavy German accent. And he began relating a story of how he was in the German army. It was 1945, and he was in a panzer or armored regiment that was trying to keep the Russians out of Berlin. He talked about fighting on a highway, and finally that he had perished at the hands of the Russians, that he and his men had simply run out of ammunition and fuel, and they were slaughtered. After bringing him out of hypnosis, I was shook up and startled, really, because this was a meek, quiet man, yet in the trance state when he was conveying his story about the Battle of Berlin. It was pretty powerful. Well, two things happened afterwards. First off, apparently reliving that traumatic experience helped him a great deal. His issues with his temper and his other problems lessened quite a bit. But just out of curiosity, while he was in the trance state, I'd asked him his name, what unit he was with, and his ID number, and wrote to the West German government. And one day I got a piece of mail that chilled me to the bone, because a Lieutenant Heinrich Kuntz, who was part of the 10th Panzer Regiment, did indeed perish just outside of Berlin on a highway at a place called the Silo Heights on April 3rd of 1945.
These are only a sample of what's in store. When you inspire the imagination, brave the darkness night, and witness the magic that is buried beneath the surface of Elgin, one and all are welcome on this voyage of discovery and fright.